Hey, hi, it's Side-Eye, and it's that time of year again.
Where is the Liza P DLC?
Yep, it's TGA season, and you know what that means. Bitching and whining are reaching a critical mass as people freak out over the nominations. When I find the motherfucker who didn't nominate Nubby's Number Factory for Game of the Year. Now, why exactly do so many people care? Don't the Game Awards usually suck? Why would I, an informed consumer of taste, care about whatever institution deems the best games of the year? But if there's anything I've learned from seeing the Grammy and Oscar nominations every year, it's that even the most snobbish of art enjoyers can be susceptible to award season fever. Alfredo 2 should have been nominated, goddammit. That Jet album is overrated as hell. Yes, this is something I like to call Game Award psychosis, where every year around the end of November, the entire game-playing public takes the nominations very seriously and nitpicks every category to the most insane degree. Well, obviously Monster Hunter doesn't belong in the RPG category because I stepped on a rock today and it hurt a little bit more than I expected. I swear it gets even more ravenous every year. Well, yes, music stands and cinephiles can get very wrapped up in their respective award shows. For the most part, most of the music listeners or movie watchers don't really care about the Grammys or Oscars, while gamers, on the other hand, it's a whole different beast. People I'd never expect to give a shit start going on multi-thread rants about a certain game getting nominated. Argument after argument about the most nothing categories. People vote en masse and crash the Game Awards website, which even a week after it went live as the time of writing, it's still acting really slow. Now, why is this? I myself have a few theories. First off, gamers. That is the entirety of my first thought. But secondly, video games, unlike other media, are pretty big commitments, both financially and time-wise. Most of these games are costing $70 at launch, and that price seems to only be going up over time. And they also take a long-ass time to complete. I mean, look at the games nominated for the Game of the Year category. 44 hours, 46 hours, 44 hours, 63 hours, 30 hours, 96 hours. I'd be pissed off too if I spent over 90 hours in something and it didn't get nominated for anything. Okay, we're not talking about you yet. At the end of the day, it all comes back to the big V word.
Virginity.
No, validation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
People want the stuff they like to be validated and recognized by others. This is why a lot of people get so riled up when they see negative opinions on a game they liked. They don't want to feel like they wasted their time or money. It's nice to love something and have that opinion reinforced by a third party. I think they made a whole science based on this. But my job here today is to quell that anxiety keeping you up at night.
I can't believe they didn't nominate Raito Remastered, Mystery of the Soulless Army, remake to the Seminole Classic, Devil Summoner, Raito Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless Army.
By giving you a few reasons why you, yes you, shouldn't take the Game Awards that seriously. Reason number one.
If you buy Mountain Dew or you buy Doritos, you actually get a code, which then you go to the website like DoXP or DoritosXP.com, you enter that code and link it to your gamer tag, and you actually get experience in the game.
Yes, first, let's talk about the man himself, Jeff Keighley. This man has made quite a name for himself over the last decade or so, hosting the TGAs, practically replacing E3 with his own Summer Games Fest show, and taking the reins on Gamescom opening night live. Now, I do have a good amount of respect for Jeff. At least from what I can tell, he does seem to have a genuine love of the medium and industry. And from the amount of work I can only imagine goes into these shows, he would need to have a genuine passion for games to make it this far in his career. And from everything I've heard, he seems like a pretty decent dude. But at the same time, I do get a bit of a weird vibe from him. Not in a bad way, but sometimes his love for games seems to be very much focused on the big AAA side of the industry. You can kinda tell he wants the video game industry to be like Hollywood. He edits all of the montages for the TGAs like movie trailers. He puts a big focus on the auteur directors like Hideo Kojima. His Twitter account is basically pop-based for the games industry. There's a best adaptation category. His view of games as a medium is very different from mine, to say the least. To me, most AAA games aren't worth a damn, and the companies putting them out need to be gone yesterday, but that's a video for a different day. Suffice to say, Jeff definitely wants to court the biggest game publishers to be on his side. He tries to not step on too many toes, and even when he does speak on things such as mass layoffs, he speaks in generalities and not directly to the people responsible who were in the crowd, and if I was given the opportunity, I would Anyway, that's probably why I'm not hosting the TGAs, or much of anything for that matter. Anybody else really broke right now? There are much worse people who could be in Jeff's position, and I'm overall pretty cool with him as a figure in the industry, but his view of games as a medium can be a bit narrow, and his show reflects that in a lot of ways. Reason number 2. What does this mean? Okay, this is something I've been wanting to get off my chest for quite a while now. The Game Awards categories are so weird. Now, I know that game genres are awful and nondescript, but the TGAs do themselves no favors with some of these category names. The fact that we're still using the term action-adventure in 2025 is a pretty good sign that this show is the brainchild of someone who comes from an older era of the games industry. Same goes for Best RPG and Best Action. None of these games are similar to each other whatsoever. And not to nitpick every single category, we'd be here all day if I did, but another one I've had beef with for a long time is Best Fighting Game. This is just sad, man. Okay, so we got a collection, a bad collection, a game that's not even technically out yet, a re-release, and the one actual new fighting game that came out this year. I know the industry isn't necessarily swimming in new fighting games every year, but come on, man. This just does not look good. I could keep going on this point, how Best Indie and Best Debut Indie are odd distinctions, the Games for Impact category being a token gesture to the wider world of independent games, and don't even get me started on Best Adaptation and Most Anticipated. Ugh. But the main point is that the categories and awards are mostly a secondary priority compared to reason number 3.
Who put all these awards in the middle of my commercials?
Yeah, let's be honest, most people who tune into the show aren't interested in the awards whatsoever. They want to see all the new game announcements, and the TGAs know this. Why do you think they speed through like 70% of the awards in the pre-show and after the trailers? They know why people are tuning in. Most viewers aren't interested in what won Best Sim Strategy. They want to see the new GTA 6 trailer. The TGAs have to run such a tight ship in terms of runtime because of all the obligations and contracts they signed with other companies that their trailer will run at this time for this long. It's where most of the pageantry goes, and frankly, Jeff was smart to do it this way, because without the new announcements, most people wouldn't care to tune in. Hell, just looking up the 2024 show for research, look, right there in the title, Witcher 4, Snoop Dogg, 21 Pilots. None of those things have anything to do with the actual games nominated. They're just the best SEO terms that were thrown in there to get people to click, because it wasn't going to be the games themselves. And that's also not to mention the honest to God actual commercials sprinkled throughout the show.
Yo! Google Play Games Beta? That's exactly what I was waiting for! Fuck Bloodborne 2!
The entire show just has this whole corporate stank to it no amount of Statler and Waldorf can cover up. And I don't have a natural segue into my final reason, so I'll just say it. There's a lot of f***ing games out. Even in a perfect world where none of the other issues I brought up existed, the fact of the matter is, is that gaming is huge now, and there's inherently going to be sections of the industry ignored by a show like this due to the sheer breadth of games out now. It feels like every week there's 20 new games getting buzz on social media, and each of those games could be someone's game of the year. There's no possible way for every good or even amazing game to get its shine in a show like this. For example, one of my favorite gaming experiences this year was Liza P's DLC, Overture. Along with the base game, Overture is one of, if not a top 3 Soulsborne game I've ever played. I even liked it more than Elden Ring's DLC. Now, was I surprised to see when it didn't get nominated? No! It's a DLC for a 2-year-old game that went under the radar and I don't hear it talked about, even by genre enthusiasts. But that doesn't change the fact that I still loved it and think that it's one of the best experiences 2025 brought. And I guess that's the ultimate point of this video. We can nitpick every aspect of these award shows, the categories, the host, the nomination process, Chick Hydrobot, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't seek validation from these shows and get angry or upset when your favorite game doesn't get nominated or win, because it doesn't matter. What matters is what you think your favorite games are, not what some entity thinks. So go ahead, tell me in the comments what your favorite games are. Bonus points if it wasn't nominated in the TGAs. And I should also clarify, I'm a huge hypocrite. I'm still gonna watch the show the same way I do every year, clapping like a seal at the game announcements, and making fun of the show itself, and that's okay. You can still have fun with the TGAs, or any award show for that matter. Just don't get too wrapped up in their logic, or take them too seriously. It's the end of the year. Kick back, get some friends, and enjoy this flawed industry's flawed award show. Or not, I don't really care. I don't really know how to end this video, so I guess I'll just run through the Game of the Year nominees and give my quick thoughts on them. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Didn't play it, don't know much about it, doesn't really look like my kind of game. Donkey Kong Bonanza. What a fantastic, joyful romp. Honestly, should have been the Switch 2's launch game if you ask me. Also has one of the craziest final acts to any Nintendo game. Death Stranding 2. I only got about 20 hours into this one, and I do plan on going back, but it didn't quite keep my interest like the first one. Hades 2. Fantastic sequel that improves on every aspect, except the ending. Why was that shit so rushed? Still great though. Silk Song. I don't know if this is my personal game of the year yet, but it's my favorite on the nominees. Very sadistic and has some deep-rooted flaws, but that's what I love about it. This was made by people who were given carte blanche to make the exact game they wanted, with no compromises. And how could I not appreciate that? And then we get to Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which is an amazing, phenomenal game in almost every aspect that I loved deeply. And I loved it even more when it came out a couple years ago under the name Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Alright, now that I pissed everybody off, I'm gonna peace out. Bye!